Welcome back to the channel. I'm joined as ever on Monday by Henry Wright. A mad weekend. We saw Arsenal's dramatic winner against Wolverhampton Wanderers. The Blue Sharks of City are circling after an emphatic 3-0 win away at Crystal Palace. Mo Salah and Slot put their feud to bed to get an important win for Liverpool. Palmer is back for Chelsea and they get back to winning ways. But I want to start today, Henry. And by the way, viewers, like, share, subscribe, hit that hype button for us too. Thomas Frank in the gulag again. Fans want him out. There's talk in the media that he's going to get sacked. An abysmal performance, a battering by Nottingham Forest. Talk to me. Talk to me.
Yeah, look, I've been trying to be as positive as I can with this manager. I don't necessarily think it's the right time to bring a new manager in halfway through the season because he won't have time to implement his ideas. However, we are right now, we've won 3 of our last 12 games, 1 of our last 7 games. We have just been played off the park by Nottingham Forest. And the first tactical change he does is to bring on Ben Davies. Now, it doesn't matter how you dress it up. 1 win in 7 games is relegation form. Let's just call it for what it is. But it's the attacking numbers. You know, for the 8th game this season, we've registered under 1 XG, which is so bad. I mean, Wolves in recent games have created more XG than we have, and they're bottom of the league. You know, we are where we are. I think a lot of it is down to luck. There's just teams that are worse than us in the league. We are one of the most boring teams to watch. And we've kind of gone from scorched earth, from having a manager who didn't know how to defend and was all out attack, to having a manager who doesn't know how to attack or defend. So at the moment, if we do go and sack Thomas Frank, the number one choice from a lot of our fans will probably be Glasner. Glasner's got a very good chance of winning the Conference League this season. Palace are a better side than us. He's not going to leave Palace. Another one is Ziriola at Bournemouth. A lot of people think he's been found out this season because Bournemouth started off like a house on fire, really, really good, and then dropped off. Immediately, what people are going to say is, if we get Areola, we can then go and get Semenyo. He's not going to come to us. So let's just put that rumor to bed. So
not when he's got City, Liverpool, Man United all in the offie. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and plus, all those other clubs that you just mentioned pay much higher wages than us. We brought in Xavi Simons and Kudus, who so far, Kudus has had probably 2 or 3 good games in a Spurs shirt. Kudus has been the only shining light we've had all season, and you could maybe argue Richarlison for his output. But I'll be honest with you, mate. Like, I'm sitting here right now. We're coming up to the 17th game of the season, and we're let's call it for what it is. We're basically halfway through the season. We've played 6 games in the Champions League. We've played 1 game in the League Cup, plus the Super Cup. We've played pushing 30 games this season, and we look woeful. We look a terrible, terrible side. And with tough fixtures coming our way, we've got I think we've even got Crystal Palace away coming up in our next 2. So we've got Liverpool on Saturday. Let's call it what it is. We won't beat Liverpool and we won't beat Palace. Then after that, we've got Brentford away, who get all of their points at home. So I don't think... And then we've got Sunderland, who are on good form. And then we've got Bournemouth and Villa. Like, we could find ourselves by the new year. I mean, that Villa game is on the 10th of January, which is in the FA Cup. By the 10th of Jan, at this moment in time, I think we will be 15th, 16th again. And if we sack the manager come January, who do you bring in?
Your manager has said that he feels that he needs time. His words were, and I'll put them up on the screen now so the viewers can see. He has said that if no one gets the time, no one can turn it around. It's not a quick fix. And on this, I thought you started the season quite well. It was very Thomas Frankie. It was hard to break down, hard to beat.
Yeah.
And you were counter-attacking well. That has dissipated. There's no doubt about that. Could there not be truth in what he's saying? Could this be about players not wanting to apply the tactics properly, players not working hard enough, players not being good enough, and a manager at Spurs needs time to build a squad, implement an ethos, and it's going to take years because you are broken, as opposed to expecting Brighton, whenever they change manager, the new guy comes in and basically just picks things up where the other guy left off because they are well-oiled, that the squad know what they're doing, they're a well-run machine. Is there not the case here that sacking him is just you're going back to square one, but it's still the new manager's going to foul because they're not going to get time. No one is. Could he not be right in the sense that no one's going to get the time to build a good enough squad and a good enough ethos and a good enough system so that you're just always in this cycle?
Well, yeah, two things can be right at the same time. Two things can be right at once. He's right in what he's saying. No manager is going to get a significant amount of time under this ownership, but at the same time, his performances with this group of players this season, Bournemouth's only away win this season was against us. Fulham's only away win this season was against us. Eze needs to get up to speed at Arsenal, plays us, scores a hat-trick. No player has scored a hat-trick for Arsenal before then since the no player has scored a hat-trick against us.
Yeah, I hear you.
And
it don't help, does it?
Forest, 17th in the league, play us, score 3 goals. Fulham played us, 16th in the league, beat us. Wolves should have beaten us if it wasn't for Palhinha's last-minute equaliser. I do agree what he's saying. If it is Glasner, hypothetically, he won't get the time. We'll get a new manager bounce. We'll win probably 4 or 5 games in a row. We'll all get giddy. Oh, we're going back for the Champions League. But then when it comes down to the transfer windows, I looked at it yesterday on Transfer Market. We spent 60 million on Solanke, 50 million on Johnson, 50 million on Richarlison, 60 million on Kudus, 60 million on Xavi Simons. That's 300 million quid. And out of all of those players, yes, Johnson scored the winner against you lot in the Europa League. But other than that, where is Solanke? He's not played a single minute this season. It doesn't take you 6 months to recover from a broken ankle. It doesn't. You should be back with him 2 months. Why is he like Maddison's now been ruled out till April now? Like it's just a lot of these things just aren't adding up. But Basuma's not played a minute this season.
Yeah, but he's been. Yeah, but we're seeing all the pictures and footage of that, isn't it?
Yeah, but like at the moment, is he worse than Archie Gray?
I thought Archie Gray was meant to be a top baller.
Well, our fans are like, Jesus Christ. Vicario, if the manager has anything about him, he'll drop Vicario for the Liverpool game.
Hang on. I heard, I think it was Deji calls him Thick Cario. Thick Cario.
Honestly, he's one of the worst goalkeepers in the Premier League right now on current form. He is terrible with his feet.
I read a stat that something like 72% of your goals this season have come from his errors.
Exactly. But if the manager had any tactical prowess or any bollocks, as we call it, you'd go to Vicario. You're going to hold the bench for a few games. Because at the moment, against Fulham, massive error. Our last 3 or 4 games, like you said, I think it was 72% of the goals we've conceded. I think that's all comps as well, by the way. That's horrendous, mate. And he's not doing anything about it. And with games got coming up, like I said on the last Straight Fact show I was on, he may not make Christmas. And I'm sticking with that. I don't think bear in mind, Christmas is only 10 days away. If we lose heavily to Liverpool, I don't think he'll be here.
Yeah, the hardest bit about this time of the year is there's no breaks. So it isn't like you've got the first two or 3 months of the season, you've got those international breaks where if you're going to sack a manager, you can get rid of them. You've got 2 weeks to find the new guy. Now, unless you're going to wait until March, which could be, you could be out of every competition, no chance of Europe next year. You've got to weigh it up. But I feel sorry for Frank because I really liked what he did at Brentford. I just think this goes back to what I've said before, this kind of dysmorphia that Spurs have. You don't know what you are. Your players think they've made it when they're sorry?
Do you think the job's too big for him?
I don't know if the job's too big for him. I think that's a little bit of a reductionist take. I think that he wants to play a certain way, and I just don't think players go to Spurs and go, no, this ain't Brentford. Although I look at it and go, but Brentford are not that much worse than you. I just think that there is this element at Spurs with the stadium, the fame, the Beyonce concerts, the NFL, the noise around it, is we need to be playing really nice, attacking, expansive football. I just feel that I felt Frank was right for you. And I do think he is the right person for the quality of squad you've got. But I think your squad feel that they are bigger and better than that. I think there is this disconnect between squad and manager
And our fans as well.
ownership. It's all a bit of a mess, which is why I have sympathy for Thomas Frank. But that being said, it isn't getting any better. You're not winning enough games, and that can't be ignored. But Spurs have got to decide on what they are stylistically in terms of the types of players they want. And when they sign these players, the players have got to be prepared to play that way. And I just feel that you're a bit of a mess from top to bottom. So where I agree with Frank is I don't think this is as easy as just bringing in De Zerbi and go for it. He'll get you playing better football, but then there's going to be holes in that as well because you don't have the quality to stop the counter-attacks that will happen in the Premier League against you. But then it's about understanding. I don't think there's any one type of manager that's going to fix Spurs instantly and you'll just exponentially get better and better. There'll be ups and there'll be downs. The one thing I will say, if the football's expansive and you're attacking and it's beautiful, like a De Zerbi could get you playing, I think the fans would give it a little bit more time. But it feels very broken right now at Tottenham, there's no doubt. Viewers, give us your view. Should Frank be sacked? Should he be backed? Let us know in the comment section below. And make sure you're liking the video too. The weekend saw City close the gap back down to 2 points on Arsenal. Arsenal with a dramatic late winner against Wolves. What's your head saying now around the title race?
Yeah, I mean, I watched that Man City game yesterday. The Spurs game on the telly and the City game on my laptop. And I was very, very impressed with City. Very, very impressed. I think Rayan Cherki at the moment is, I said this yesterday on my match reaction, I think he's in contention for signing of the summer at the moment. He looks a breath of fresh air. The ability he's got at his feet is, I actually think might be a bit of a wild take. I think in terms of pure ability, I think he has more ability than anyone in that City squad. I think in terms of the way he can take players on, the fact that he can go on both feet, he can play in the 10 out wide, very versatile player. City right now, the Sunderland result was very, very good, and I was very impressed. But that result going away to Palace, I predicted a draw. I said City would drop points, and they have proved me wrong 100%. I think they now are looking at that Arsenal team going, Gyökeres isn't performing that well. Injuries are taking their toll. Arsenal at the moment didn't look their clinical best. But as I said on my Arsenal match reaction, when you're in a title race, the only thing that matters is that 3 points. No Arsenal fan should really be hugely concerned if they go and beat Everton, thinking about that Wolves result. Looking back, going, "Cool, we were lucky there." Like you said last week, in the 100-point season for Man City, they dropped points, they lost games. But to answer your question, my opinion has changed. I think I said about a month ago, I think Arsenal win it with about 5-6 games to spare. I think this goes down to the wire now. If City keep Haaland fit, which they probably will because he's a one in a generation sort of striker, and he keeps scoring goals. I think he only had 3 touches before he scored the goal yesterday. But it doesn't matter because all it takes is one half chance for him and he scores. Part of me thinks Man City will do it though. I'm very much on the fence. I think if Arsenal get their players back fit, they go to the very, very end. But if they have a couple more games like that Wolves game, City are ready to pounce. If it wasn't for that last minute own goal, City would be top of the league right now.
When it comes to content creation now and predictions, people want to live in this weird world of you got to get it right, spot on, first time, no messing. They don't want, and everything is now considered sitting on the fence, like what I'm about to say. Arsenal, for me, is still the marginal favourites, but City can definitely win this league. And I love that. That's just the facts of this matter. Both of those outcomes are very possible. And it's brilliant. We've got a real title race on our hands. Now, what I think will happen between now and the end of the season is there'll be times where Arsenal extend their lead a bit further. I think there'll be times in the next 4.5, 5, 6 months where City go ahead of Arsenal because both are going to drop points. City were brilliant yesterday against Crystal Palace. There is no doubt about it. And I think some of the XG and some of the chances that Palace had were fugazi in the sense that if you look at Yeremy Pino's chance where he hits the bar, clearly offside, but offside wasn't given. There was a time where Sarr got played through and had a shot, but the shot was poor. It was picked up by City and the referee just played on. So the whistle wasn't blown. Therefore, the statistics don't show up as an offside, and it shows as a chance, and it shows as XG, and it shows as a shot. So it was a little fugazi. Palace, for me, created very little in the game. City was strong defensively, dominated the possession for large parts. Still, there were times where Palace were able to play through the midfield. They dispossessed him in the press a few times. And that's because City are not infallible. And that's what makes this title race so exciting. I think the one thing that will kill Arsenal season is panic. The one thing that will kill Arsenal season is their negative fans, the ones that cannot handle adversity. I told you, I knew it. This is going to ruin us. Football players, whether we think they're weak or not, is irrelevant. They see social media. They hear the conversations. Arsenal fans have got to stop pushing mass levels of anger and anxiety into their dressing room, and they need to put in criticism to keep people sharp, but they need to encourage people with it. And the weekend was really interesting because if I ask you this question, who's the worst team in Premier League history?
What, at this point of the season?
Ever. Who's the worst Premier League team ever?
Derby County.
Derby County. Great. Well done. So everyone says that. Manchester United in the 07-08 season got outplayed, conceded more shots on target. But if it wasn't for a fairly late 75th minute volley from Cristiano Ronaldo, United would not, I repeat this, would not have won the league. We won that league that season by 2 points, and 2 points over Chelsea and just 4 points over Arsenal. Look at that three-horse race. Absolutely fantastic.
That's a proper Barclays race.
Proper, the best level. This is what people go, oh, you never got high 90s. Do you know how hard it was to get high 90s when there's three teams that are getting around the middle 80 mark? You know how hard it is to get 90 odd points when there's three teams that are winning that amount of football matches. Plus, you had Liverpool involved in that. You had a very good Aston Villa team at the time with Martin O'Neill. It's very hard to get those points. If you take Arsenal out of the equation and make them crap and make everybody else bang average, Chelsea and Man United would have easily got mid to high 90s in that season. But let's get back to the point I was making. That year, United win a Premier League and Champions League, but yet struggled against the worst Premier League team of all time. It happens. If you go back to the Invincible season and you go look at the bottom 5, bottom 6 teams that year, teams that weren't particularly difficult, and you go and look at Arsenal's performances from that season, and I use that because it's Arsenal's greatest ever campaign in many of their fans' eyes. Loads of draws and narrow wins over the worst teams in the league that season. Games where they're winning and conceded late goals, or games where they left it late to get the winners, or games where, they concede. Look at the, away against Leicester, conceding a late equaliser in a game. This has happened many, many a times. I don't look at the weekend and go, that for me is definitive proof Arsenal can't win the league. What it shows me is that Arsenal are going through a blip, especially away from home, where they haven't been very good. They've come out of it with out of the last 6 games, they've come out of it with 11 points. So they have dropped 7, and they've been heavily criticised for that. In that same period, I think City have come out of it with 15 points. I think they've come out of it with 15 points. So they've closed the gap slightly. Would it surprise me if over the next 10 games, Arsenal increase the lead again by 3 or 4 points? No. Would it surprise me if City overtake them by a point or so? Yes. But the race is on to the wire. This, for me, is what was always going to happen. What I felt happened earlier on this season was idiots with platforms. Arsenal won the league already. It's over. No, it wasn't. All you were doing was creating a scenario where you could say Arsenal bottled it. Everyone who knew football, everyone who understood football said it isn't over yet. It's far too early to write everybody else off. And City are now starting to click. This is going to go down to me until the last couple of games of the season. The only reason I've Arsenal as the marginal favourites is because their defence has been very good for the majority of this season. They're going to get Gabriel back, and they are 2 points clear. But City have got an amazing chance, and I love this. I think it's fantastic that the league is in this situation. I'm not going in on Arsenal. I'm not over-egging Man City. I'm just enjoying it for what it is. And I think every week now, and it's the one part of content creation I find frustrating, is that every week there has to be a new overarching statement. We've just got to get back to reviewing the games. And maybe in a weekend like this, where most people think City might drop points and they keep it down to 2 points and go, right, what's your thoughts now on the title race? Cool. For me, unless Arsenal lose 3 of the next 4 games and City win them all, there's no point talking about what does this do to the race, because it's already set. There's going to be a handful of points in it for the rest of the season. And someone saying, Arsenal got themselves up to 7 points clear at one point of City. They did. But there was also a point of the season where they were level on points. There was a point of the season, there'll be a point of the season where City are ahead of them. So how does it work? Let's say Arsenal lose their next game and City win, they go a point ahead. And then Arsenal draw a game and City win, they go 3 points ahead. And then Arsenal go on to win the league. Did City bottle it? No. It's too narrow. They're both so good. It's not, for me, what I look at bottling is when you're the outright favourite, clear, and you're massively ahead, and you have a capitulation beyond capitulations and you lose the league. Losing later in the season. Losing out to a brilliant team in a close title race, unless Arsenal are 2-0 up at home against Burnley with 5 minutes to go to clinch the league and they lose 3-2. I don't know if I'll call it bottling. I think it diminishes real collapses if we're doing it this early in the season. And I think it diminishes the quality of City to take it away from them. What I'm looking at is we've got a proper title race on our hands. I'm excited about that. And I want to talk about the title race instead of making everything about pointless, mind-numbing banter all the time.
Do you know what I would say just on this title race? If Man City go on to win it, for me, Guardiola is the greatest manager of all time. Because the one thing that everyone always used to beat him with, I know you'll disagree because you're obviously a Man United fan.
Yeah, I just disagree no matter what you say. I'm disagreeing with the greatest of all time, just point blank.
But I think when he's gone for a bad patch to get Man City back and then to go and win another title, which would be his 5th Prem?
No.
6th Prem?
He's won.
How many? They've won 7, haven't they? Pellegrini
won 7. This would be his 8th.
Mancini.
Be his 8th.
This will be his 8th Prem.
7th or 8th. Let me just go and check. I don't know.
I know Pellegrini's won. Mancini's won a Prem. And
I
thought this was.
So he's won. Hang on. He's won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be 7th.
So this will be his 7th league title,
and
he would have won a treble there, plus the treble at Bart. Yeah, for me. And if he was to then go on and for instance have another 2 or 3 years of domination, I don't think it's in question. You know, I think we actually said this on the terrace. I think you said something along the lines of if he comes back and wins another league title, this will help his case. I think considering as well, you know, I know people are going to say, I don't think they've got world-class defenders. I don't think other than Haaland. I don't think they have any world-class players. That might be a big shout, but I don't think they do. What I think they've got is a manager who's just absolutely elite. And I think that may be the difference when he gets to March. Because he's been there, seen it and done it.
Yeah, look, I think Pep is the massive sort of unbalance in the debate because of what he has won, and the team as well, because they've got over the line and they have that on their side. But it is about maintaining that as well. And that's the big thing for me is, can they maintain that? Can they keep that going? It was only 3 games ago they nearly threw, if it hadn't been for a clearance off the line by, I think, Guardiola, they nearly threw away a 5-1 lead. They threw away a 2-0 lead against Leeds, and then a screamer from Foden wins it. They got beat 2-0 at home by Bayer Leverkusen. So this is also why I'm also not going to disrespect Arsenal and go, City are going to run away with it now. City have found their form. They're fine. Again, takes an injury or two to change things. And that's part and parcel of football. No excuses. No, Arsenal only won it because Haaland got injured or Cherky. Again, Cherky looks amazing. Cherky picks up another injury. You take that away. Maybe the relationship of him and Foden doesn't flourish as much because they're working as a team. It's a team sport. It's just, there's such a long way to go. There's so many permutations. What I do know is it's going to be a brilliant title race. I still have Arsenal as the marginal favourites at this point, but I'm just not writing City off. Anyone who's doing that, I think, is personally crazy. Viewers, look, would love to get your take, your view, and your opinions on this in the comments section below. I just wanted to touch a little bit on Chelsea as well before the end, because there's been a lot of talk of Liverpool. We've done a lot of that on this channel over the course of the weekend. But on Chelsea, they picked up a very good win at the weekend, an important win, their first win in 5 games to get their sort of get the last couple of weeks out from underneath them. Palmer back in the team seems to be so important for them.
Yeah, everything goes through him, doesn't it? I think I said this, I can't remember whose channel it was on. I think other than Haaland, I think he is, in terms of importance for a team, the second most important player in the league. I think I said it was him and Declan Rice. Every single thing that Chelsea tried to do goes through Palmer. And just the confidence that he gives the rest of the Chelsea squad, knowing that you've got a player that can get the ball on the turn, run a back line. He's the best. Him and Reece James are the best passers in that team by a country mile. But I think one thing that's really, really interesting is if Chelsea would have lost this game because of Villa won around them and because Liverpool won, if Chelsea would have lost this game, they would have been up, I think, 6th or 7th due to Sunderland's win. So that is, like you said, it's a huge result. First win in 5. They play tomorrow in the League Cup against Cardiff. Then Saturday's game is absolutely massive for them away at St James's Park. But I was actually really impressed with Chelsea. I thought I think they created 5 or 6 big chances. They looked good. João Pedro is the one that I like João Pedro, but I just think he's so inconsistent. I don't think he's at the level to lead the line for Chelsea. But equally, I don't think Liam Delap is there at the moment. So I think in terms of output, you will see a lot of players get. I don't think you'll see many Chelsea players this season get double digits for goals. I think you may see Neto may get there, but I think a lot of people will be on 5 or 6.
Yeah, listen, I think with Chelsea, I think what the weekend showed me again is Maresca for the Premier League games can't be rotating his squad as much as he has been. That's an area that's got to improve in at the club. But equally, it's about players delivering, man. Because their fans spent 3 days, don't keep inverting, doesn't work. They won the game because of Gusto's inverting nature. But it's about the players playing the right passes in those positions. And then when they get the opportunities, people scoring. And that's exactly what Palmer did early in the game, when actually they'd been arguably second best up into that goal. If people go back and honestly watch the game, Everton were looking a little dangerous. Everton had some half chances in the game. Everton, I mean, even if you look at it statistically, I'm just going back to it now. If you go back to before that goal, yes, they had 60% of the ball, but it was 3 shots to 2. And they had some dangerous moments, Everton. But then Palmer gets a chance, bang, scores. And then I felt Chelsea were very comfortable after that point. I didn't feel that they were really in the... They were in the game. They had the moments, but it was completely different after that point. And this is where Maresca needs help from his players. Players have got to deliver. Players have got to start playing the right passes, converting. I mean, Garnacho at the weekend should have scored at least 2 goals, if not more. And that's been probably their biggest issue in the last 12 months, Chelsea, is in tight games, some of their players just don't convert the chances, don't play the right final ball. That, for me, isn't a system issue. That isn't a coaching issue. It's a quality issue of player. And I think as football fans, we lack the ability to do it. I think what happens in the content space is people go, I'm backing this player. And then if you get it wrong and the player isn't looking great, rather than back down from and say, I think my judgment of a player was wrong, I'm just going to say it's the manager's fault. That way I can keep saying my opinion was right and the manager ain't getting the best out of him. And I think it's become there are times that's true, but I think it's become the default stance. You said that Isak could be the best striker in the league at Liverpool. Yeah, manager ain't using him right. Manager ain't using him right. Manager ain't using him right. Nah, the manager's not using him right. The manager killed him. The manager's killing him. The manager's killing him. Yeah, but the manager isn't making his first touch a pass. The manager isn't making his shots weak. The manager isn't stopping him from taking people on. Nah, he is. He's instructing him to. Then why is Ekitike taking people on? I used to say it's about Grealish. Nah, Pep tells him not to dribble past people. Pep tells him not to take people on.
That narrative was complete BS.
But you get my point, right? We go through this thing of we blame managers for every time a player isn't looking good. Maresca isn't at fault for Garnacho missing those chances at the weekend. But the reason he wasn't blamed is because other players stepped up and scored goals. The system worked absolutely fine. We've got to start putting more accountability on players delivering, especially when you're a team like Chelsea. Even Man United, we get the ball in the right areas a lot. It's then about a player doing the right thing. Pep says this, my system is about the defensive shape and then getting the ball into the attacking areas. Once it's there, it's on the players to do something. And that's Pep the person that most considered one of, if not the greatest manager of all time. But we pick and choose when to listen to these great managers. And for me, I thought Chelsea were very good at the weekend, but as ever, they need players to deliver. They need players to get them over the line, to keep their discipline. Because I look at his
players to deliver. Sorry to cut you off. Do you think he's dealt Estevao a bit of a harsh set of cards?
No.
Because he had a really good game. I know he's an 18-year-old, and I know you're going to say to me he should be treated as an 18-year-old. He should come through the ranks and fight for his place and all that. Really good game against Barcelona. For me, was the best player on the pitch. Since then, I played 45 minutes against Arsenal, 45 minutes against Leeds, 13 against Bournemouth.
Yeah, but so
against.
He hasn't been given a bad hand. He started him. He had that game against Barca, and then he started him 2 games running. And both halves, he was poor, right? And then he plays Leeds. I think he starts against Leeds as well. He started 3 games running, I think.
Yeah, he started off at half time.
And again, and in the Leeds game, he wasn't doing 3 games running. He didn't do anything. Sorry, 2 games running, he started him. It was Leeds. In the Leeds game, I wouldn't have sent him off for it, but another referee could have done because he kicked out. And he took him off. I think Estevao is so talented, but I think Maresca is doing the right thing with him. If you overplay him now, when he isn't quite ready, you could ruin him. And Chelsea did that with Mykhailo Mudryk. And by the way, Estevao is levels above him in terms of ability, but he got overplayed when he wasn't quite ready. Got made the star man when he wasn't ready, and the pressure ruined him. Don't do it to young Estevao. Don't listen to certain Chelsea fans that do the whole, he's better than Saka, he's better than Yamal, he's better than Salah already. He isn't. He's a very talented young man who needs to be nurtured and needs to be bled into Premier League football slowly but surely, in my personal opinion.
I just think, like, off the game against Leeds, I didn't think anyone was particularly great for the whole 90 minutes, let alone just the first half. The game against Arsenal, he was subbed off at half-time, I believe. That was straight after the red card, so he was the sacrificial lamb. Fair enough. The Bournemouth game, 0-0 draw, I didn't think Chelsea... I thought that was quite a dull game. Fair enough, he didn't give any minutes, but I thought yesterday, maybe at half-time, at that point, you're already 2-0 up. I thought that may be the best time to bring him on, but he brought him on in the 82nd minute. I think if that's the case, then I would start him against Cardiff. You know,
yeah, look, I think
you should be comfortable.
Yeah, start him against Cardiff this week, no doubt. I wouldn't start him away at Newcastle. That's going to be raucous. That's not the right place, I don't think, for a young man like that. And then after that, they're at home against Aston Villa. I probably wouldn't. I'd probably then start him. If I'm going to start him again, I might look at the Bournemouth game. Then you're away against City. I wouldn't start him there. I might start him away at Fulham. I might start him at home against Brentford. I'd be using him sparingly, personally, to begin with as well. You've got to make sure he's ready and don't rush these youngsters. But look, Henry, always a pleasure to sit and talk football with you, mate. I want to thank the viewers for tuning in as always. Please like, share, and subscribe before you leave. And if you've got any hypes left this week, give it a bit of a hype. Until next time, everybody, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you soon. Peace.